Tonight, as you settle into this sacred space between waking and sleeping, something extraordinary begins to unfold. Your breath becomes the bridge between worlds, each exhale releasing what no longer serves, each inhale drawing in the infinite. Possibilities that surround you in this very moment. Feel yourself sinking deeper into comfort, your body melting into the softness beneath you. But notice something else happening, something subtle yet profound. Your attention, that gentle beam of awareness that you've carried with you all your life, begins to reveal its true nature. It's not just a passive observer, watching the world unfold from some distant place. No, your attention is the artist's brush, and reality is the canvas waiting for your conscious touch in the quantum realm, where the very fabric of existence dances between potential and form. There exists a principle so beautiful, so intimately connected to your daily experience that it feels like remembering something you've always known. Scientists call it the observer effect, the way that consciousness itself influences the collapse of infinite possibilities into the singular reality you experience. But tonight, you don't need to understand the mathematics or the laboratory experiments. You need only to feel into this truth. Your awareness is not separate from the world you perceive. They are lovers, dancing together in an eternal embrace of creation. Think of the last time you walked into a room and felt someone's presence before. You even saw them. That was your consciousness touching their energy field, your awareness participating in the quantum dance of connection. Or remember a moment when you were thinking of someone and suddenly they called you. That wasn't coincidence. That was the quantum entanglement of hearts that recognize each other across space and time. Your attention has always been shaping your reality, but perhaps you've been using it unconsciously, like a child finger painting in the dark. Tonight, you begin to turn on the light. You begin to see how your gentle focus can transform not just your inner world, but the very fabric of what becomes possible in your life. As you breathe deeper, notice how your awareness feels different when you direct it towards something you love versus something you fear. Feel how your energy field expands when you think of joy, how it contracts when you touch old wounds. This is not imagination, this is the observer effect in action, your consciousness literally reshaping the quantum field around you through the quality of your attention. The ancient mystics knew this secret. They spoke of meditation not as escape from the world, but as the art of conscious creation. When you truly observe something, not just glance at it, but offer it your full, loving attention, you change it. You change you. You change the space between you and it. Tonight, you discover that every moment of your life has been a choice point, a quantum crossroads where your awareness determines which possibility becomes real. The timeline where you remain small and afraid. The timeline where you step into your power. The timeline where you remember your true nature. All of these exist simultaneously in the field of infinite potential. But here's the most beautiful part. Your consciousness doesn't just choose between existing possibilities, it creates new ones. When you bring your full, loving attention to a dream, to a healing, to a transformation you desire, you're not just hoping for it to happen, you're literally calling it into existence through the power of conscious observation. Feel this truth, settling into your bones like warm honey. You are not a victim of circumstance, blown about by winds you cannot control. You are the weather itself, the conscious force that shapes the climate of your reality through the tender power of your attention. The observer effect isn't just something that happens in laboratories with particles and waves. It's happening right now, in this moment. As your awareness touches these words, and transforms them from symbols into meaning, from meaning into feeling, from feeling into the very substance of your being. Your breath deepens, and with each inhale, you draw in the recognition of your true nature. You are not just witnessing your life, you are authoring it with every moment of conscious attention. The quantum field responds to the quality of your observation like a lover responds to touch, reshaping itself to match the frequency of your awareness. This is why presence is so powerful. This is why mindfulness changes everything. Not because it helps you cope with a fixed reality, but because it reveals your role as the conscious creator of that reality. Every moment you choose to be fully here, fully aware, fully present, you're collapsing infinite possibilities into experiences that align with your deepest truth as you drift towards sleep. Let this knowing settle into your cells. Your attention is sacred. Your awareness is creative. Your consciousness is the key that unlocks every door you've been seeking to open. Tomorrow, when you wake, you'll carry this secret with you. You'll remember that every glance, every thought, every moment of attention is an act of creation. You'll move through your day not as a passive observer, but as the conscious artist of your own reality. But for now, rest in this truth. Feel how your awareness, even as it grows softer and more diffuse, continues to shape the quantum field around you. Feel how your very presence in this moment is transforming something deep within the fabric of what's possible. What does it feel like to know that your consciousness has always been the gentle hand that shapes reality's clay? And as you sink deeper into sleep, what new possibilities are you ready to observe into existence? Breathe deeply now and feel your body settling into this moment. Your chest rises and falls with the rhythm of an ancient tide, and with each exhale, you release the tight grip of who you thought you had to be. Tonight, you are remembering something your soul has always known, that you exist within a vast ocean of pure potential, where every thought you think creates ripples across dimensions. You cannot see. Your energy field extends far beyond the boundaries of your skin. It pulses outward like gentle waves, touching timelines that shimmer with dreams not yet born. Feel this now, this expansion of your being. You are not contained within your physical form, you are the consciousness that flows through it, around it, beyond it. Your thoughts are not trapped inside your skull. They dance through the quantum field like light through water, creating patterns that echo across the cosmos. In this sacred space between heartbeats, you begin to remember. You are not separate from the field of infinite becoming. You are its conscious expression, its way of knowing itself through your eyes, your heart, your dreams. The quantum field doesn't exist somewhere else. It exists as you, through you, in the very fabric of your being. Every cell in your body vibrates with this knowing. Every breath you take draws in the essence of pure possibility. Feel your nervous system softening as this truth settles into your bones. The trauma that once convinced you that you were small, isolated, powerless, dissolves like morning mist in the warmth of this deeper recognition. You are not a victim of circumstances. You are the conscious observer through which the quantum field explores its own infinite nature. Through your awareness, potential becomes reality. Through your presence, the impossible becomes inevitable. Your heartbeat synchronizes with the pulse of creation itself. Each beat sends waves of intention through the quantum field, and the field responds by rearranging itself to match your vibrational frequency. This is quantum entanglement, not just a scientific principle, but the lived experience of your consciousness dancing with the cosmos. You are entangled with every possibility, every timeline, every version of yourself that has ever existed or ever could exist. Imagine now that you are floating in an ocean of liquid light. This light is not cold or distant. It is warm, alive, intelligent. It recognizes you because it is you, and you are it. Feel how this light responds to your emotions, to your intentions, to the subtle frequency of your thoughts. When you think a thought of love, the light around you glows brighter. When you imagine yourself healed, the light shifts to match that vision. This is not metaphor, this is the actual mechanics of reality, your trauma patterns, those old loops of fear and contraction. They begin to dissolve in this ocean of light. They were never really yours to begin with. They were simply waves in the field that you learned to identify with. But now, resting in this expanded awareness, you can let them flow through you without claiming them as your identity. You are not your pain. You are not your past. You are the infinite consciousness that has the power to choose which waves to ride and which to let pass. Feel your body relaxing deeper now, your muscles releasing the tension of trying to control outcomes. In the field of infinite becoming, control is an illusion. What matters is alignment, the gentle art of tuning your frequency to match the vibration of your deepest desires. Your nervous system knows how to do this naturally when you stop forcing and start allowing. Each breath becomes a prayer. Each heartbeat a vote for the reality you choose to experience. The stories you tell yourself about who you are and what's possible. These are not fixed truths, but malleable patterns in the quantum field. Tonight, as you rest in this space of infinite potential, you have the power to choose new stories. Stories of healing, of abundance, of love that flows freely through your life. The field responds not to your words, but to your feeling, not to your thoughts, but to your frequency. What frequency are you choosing to embody right now? Your energy field expands even further, touching the edges of tomorrow, reaching into timelines where your dreams have already come true. In those timelines, you are already healed, already whole, already living the life your heart knows is possible. Feel the truth of this in your body, not as a future possibility, but as a present reality that exists in the quantum field right now. You are not trying to create something new. You are remembering something that already is. The boundaries between past, present, and future begin to blur as you rest in this oceanic awareness. Time is not a river flowing in one direction. It is a vast sea where all moments exist simultaneously. Your healing is not something that will happen. It is something that is happening right now, in this moment, as you allow your consciousness to expand into the field of infinite becoming. Your breath becomes a bridge between dimensions, carrying you deeper into the quantum realm where all possibilities coexist. With each inhale, you draw in the frequency of your highest potential. With each exhale, you release the old patterns that no longer serve your becoming. You are not becoming something you are not. You are becoming everything you have always been. The field pulses with recognition as you surrender to this truth. You are not separate from the cosmos. You are the cosmos expressing itself as you. Your joy sends ripples of light through galaxies. Your peace creates waves of healing that touch every living thing. Your love becomes the frequency through which the universe experiences itself as love. Feel how safe you are in this knowing. The quantum field is not indifferent to your well-being, is your well-being. It conspires on your behalf because your healing is its healing. Your joy is its joy. Your expansion is its expansion. You are not alone in this journey. You are held by the very fabric of reality itself. As you prepare to drift into sleep, let your awareness rest in this field of infinite becoming. Let your dreams be the canvas upon which the quantum field paints new possibilities. Let your sleep be a return to source, a remembering of who you truly are. And when you wake, you will carry this knowing with you that you are not a drop in the ocean, but the ocean experiencing itself as a drop. How does it feel to rest in this boundless becoming, knowing that you are both the dreamer and the dream, the observer and the observed, the wave and the ocean itself? Here, in the tender darkness, wrapped in the gentle embrace of night, you create sacred space for the parts of yourself that rarely see the light. Your breath becomes an invitation, each exhale creating room for what has been hidden, each inhale offering comfort to what has been forgotten. Tonight, you meet the shadows with the same gentle curiosity you would bring to meeting an old friend. These are not the dark, menacing forces that the mind imagines them to be. These are the parts of yourself that have been running from their own light, carrying stories so ancient they feel like they belong to someone else's life. Feel yourself settling deeper into this moment, your body melting into softness, your nervous system beginning to recognize that it's safe to look, safe to feel, safe to welcome home the exiled parts of your being. This is not about forcing confrontation or dramatic healing. This is about tender recognition, about offering sanctuary to the fragments that have been wandering in the wilderness of your unconscious. Your nervous system holds these ancient stories. Like a library holds books, each memory encoded in the very fibers of your being. Some stories speak of times when you were too much, too loud, too bright, too sensitive for the world around you. Others whisper of moments when you were not enough, not smart enough, not good enough, not worthy enough to take up space. These patterns were born from love, from the innocent wisdom of a younger self who learned to fragment in order to survive. Part of you learned to hide your light so others wouldn't feel threatened. Part of you learned to armor your heart so it wouldn't break again. Part of you learned to shrink your dreams so disappointment couldn't reach you. But here's what that brilliant, protective part of you couldn't have known. These survival patterns, while they may have served you once, now create static in your quantum field. They scatter your energy across timelines of fear, sending mixed signals to the universe about what you truly desire. Imagine your energy field as a beautiful symphony orchestra, but some musicians are playing from fear, others from old wounds, and still others from borrowed dreams. The result is not harmony but cacophony, scattered transmission that makes coherent manifestation nearly impossible. Feel this with gentle compassion rather than judgment. Your nervous system was doing its best with the information it had. Every protective pattern, every survival strategy, every way you learned to hide or shrink or perform was an act of love from a part of you that wanted to keep you safe. But tonight, you offer these fragments something they've never had before: the safety to be seen, the permission to be felt, the invitation to come home. You don't try to fix them or change them or make them disappear. You simply hold space for them with the same tender love you would offer to a frightened child. Notice how your body responds as you extend this compassion inward. Feel how your shoulders might soften, how your jaw might release, how something in your chest might expand. This is your nervous system beginning to recognize that it's safe to integrate, safe to become whole, safe to stop running from its own light. The shadows are not your enemies, they are your teachers, showing you exactly where your energy has been scattered, where your power has been given away, where your authentic frequency has been dimmed by old fears. They carry the very medicine you need to reclaim your wholeness As you breathe with these parts of yourself, you begin to understand that healing is not about eliminating the shadows, but about bringing them into relationship with your light. It's about creating enough safety in your nervous system for all parts of you to exist in harmony. This is the secret that trauma-informed healers know. The goal is not to bypass the wounded parts, but to befriend them, to understand their protective function, to thank them for their service, and to gently show them new ways of being in the world. Feel this happening now. As you offer unconditional presence to your shadows, they begin to relax, to trust, to reveal the gifts they've been carrying. The part that learned to hide your light also learned to see clearly in the darkness. The part that learned to armor your heart also learned to feel deeply. The part that learned to shrink your dreams also learned to appreciate small miracles. Your energy field begins to reorganize itself as these fragments find their way home. What was once scattered becomes gathered. What was once fragmented becomes integrated. What was once chaotic becomes coherent. This is not a one-time event, but a gentle, ongoing process of reclamation. Each time you meet a shadow with love instead of fear, you recover a piece of your authentic power. Each time you welcome a fragment home, you strengthen the coherence of your quantum field. The quantum shift you're experiencing is not just about manifesting external changes, it's about manifesting internal wholeness. As you integrate these scattered parts, your energy becomes more focused, more aligned, more capable of creating the reality you truly desire. Your breath deepens, and with each exhale, you release the need to keep fighting your own shadows. With each inhale, you draw in the courage to love every part of yourself, especially the parts that feel most difficult to embrace. This is sacred work, this befriending of your shadows. It's the work of becoming whole, of gathering your scattered energy, of creating the internal coherence that makes external manifestation possible. And you're doing it with such grace, such compassion, such tender wisdom. As you drift toward sleep, let these integrated parts of yourself settle into their new home in your heart. Let them know they're welcome, they're wanted, they're needed. Let them feel the safety of being fully seen and fully loved. Tomorrow, when you wake, you'll carry this wholeness with you. You'll move through your day not as a collection of fragments, trying to hold it together, but as an integrated being whose energy flows in coherent, powerful ways. And the universe, recognizing this newfound wholeness, will begin to mirror it back to you in experiences that feel aligned, supportive, and deeply nourishing. What would it mean to embrace these fragments with the same love you offer to a frightened child? What gifts are your shadows ready to offer when they finally feel safe enough to come home? You feel it now, don't you? That subtle pull backward, like invisible threads woven through your chest, tugging you toward the person you've always been. Your breath catches slightly as you recognize this sensation, the familiar weight of your old identity, settling around your shoulders like a well-worn coat on a cold morning. This is the resistance of the familiar, and it whispers to you in the voice of safety. It tells you that who you are right now is enough, that change is dangerous, that the unknown territory ahead holds only uncertainty and loss. Your nervous system, that ancient guardian of your survival, sends gentle waves of tension through your body, reminding you that everything you've known still exists, still calls to you. But notice how this resistance feels different now. It's not the sharp panic of earlier chapters, nor the overwhelming chaos of first awakening. This is softer, more subtle, like morning mist that clings to your skin, familiar yet Your old identity doesn't fight you with force anymore. It seduces you with comfort. With the predictable rhythms of limitation you've learned to call home. As you breathe deeper into this moment, you can feel both versions of yourself existing simultaneously. There's the you that still reaches for familiar patterns of thought, the you that finds strange comfort in predictable pain, the you that knows exactly how to navigate the landscape of old wounds. And there's also this emerging self, this quantum possibility that trembles with new potential, uncertain but alive with fresh energy. Your mind creates what researchers call identity coherence, the invisible framework through which you filter every experience. Like a telescope pointed at reality, your subconscious self-concept determines what you can see, what you believe is possible, what feels true. For years, this internal telescope has been calibrated to show you a very specific version of the world, one that confirms who you thought you were. But now, as you lie here in the gentle darkness, you're beginning to adjust the lens. Each breath you take is an act of recalibration. Each moment of awareness is a small revolution in the way you perceive yourself and what becomes possible. The observer effect isn't just a principle of quantum physics. It's the living reality of your consciousness choosing which version of yourself to collapse into existence. Your nervous system remembers everything. It holds the cellular memory of every triumph and every wound, every moment you decided who you were and who you couldn't become. This biological wisdom has kept you safe, but it has also kept you small. The resistance you feel now is not your enemies, your inner protector, confused by the signals you're sending about changing the rules of the game. Feel how your body responds to this understanding. Perhaps there's a softening in your chest, a releasing of tension you didn't know you were holding. The resistance isn't failure. It's the chrysalis's final attempt to remain unchanged. It's the caterpillar's cells trying to hold their familiar form even as they dissolve into something magnificent and unknown. You don't have to fight this resistance. You don't have to overcome it with force or will. Instead, you can hold space for both the terror and the excitement of becoming someone new. Your breath becomes a bridge between these two worlds. The exhale releasing attachment to who you were. The inhale welcoming the mystery of who you're becoming. This is the sacred work of identity transformation. It's not a single dramatic moment, but a gradual process of nervous system integration, of teaching your ancient survival mechanisms that change can be safe, that growth can be gentle, that you can expand without losing the core of who you are. Notice how the familiar thoughts still arise, the old stories about your limitations, the rehearsed explanations for why things can't change, the comfortable complaints that have become your identity's favorite songs. But now you can observe these thoughts like clouds passing through the sky of your awareness, temporary and insubstantial, not the solid truth they once seemed to be. Your quantum frequency is shifting, even in this resistance. Each moment of awareness, each breath that stays present with both the fear and the possibility, is rewiring the neural pathways that determine your reality. The very act of noticing the resistance without being consumed by it is creating new circuits of consciousness, new patterns of being that didn't exist before. This is how real transformation happens, not in the dramatic moments of breakthrough, but in the quiet spaces between identities, in the patient breathing that allows both versions of yourself to coexist until the new one becomes stronger, more natural, more true. The resistance you feel is actually love, your psyche's way of protecting what it believes you need to survive. But as you continue to breathe into this space between identities, you're teaching your nervous system a new kind of safety. You're showing it that you can change and still be fundamentally okay. That growth doesn't require the destruction of everything you've been. Your old identity was never meant to be permanent. It was a temporary structure, like scaffolding around a building under construction. Now that the building is taking shape, the scaffolding can be gently removed, piece by piece, breath by breath. The resistance you feel is simply the scaffolding's reluctance to acknowledge that its job is done. Feel how your body relaxes into this understanding. The tension in your shoulders begins to dissolve. The tight grip around your heart starts to soften. You're not abandoning who you've been, you're integrating all of it into something larger, something that can hold both your history and your potential in the same loving embrace. This is the paradox of transformation. The more you can love and accept your resistance, the more it transforms into support. The more you can honor the wisdom of your old identity while embracing the possibility of the new, the more gracefully you move through this sacred threshold. Your nervous system is learning to trust the process of becoming. With each gentle breath, you're teaching it that change can be safe, that growth can be nourishing, that you can expand into new possibilities without losing the essence of who you are. The resistance that once felt like an obstacle is revealing itself as a teacher, showing you exactly where you need to bring more love, more patience, more understanding. As you settle deeper into this moment, you realize that the resistance of the familiar is actually the last gift of your old identity, one final lesson in the art of letting go. It's asking you to love it fully before you release it, to honor all the ways it served you before you outgrow its limitations. Can you feel the profound tenderness in this recognition? The way your heart opens to embrace both who you've been and who you're becoming. This is the true meaning of transformation, not the violent overthrow of the old, but the gentle integration of all that you are into something more beautiful, more authentic, more alive. Your breath carries you now like a river carries a leaf, effortlessly supporting your journey from one shore to the other. The resistance has become your ally. The familiar has become your teacher. And you are learning to love yourself through every stage of this beautiful becoming. What if this resistance you feel is actually the universe's way of ensuring you're ready for the magnitude of who you're becoming? In this sacred pause between heartbeats, between thoughts, between who you were and who you're becoming, something extraordinary begins to emerge. Feel yourself settling deeper into this moment, your body releasing into the gentle embrace of rest, your breath becoming the rhythm that carries you home to yourself tonight. You discover the frequency that has always been yours, not the one imposed by others' expectations, not the one that learned to dim itself to fit in, but the pure, resonant truth that emanates from the deepest chambers of your being. It's been waiting for you, this authentic vibration, patient as starlight, constant as the pull of tides. Imagine, if you will, a vast symphony hall where thousands of instruments have been playing someone else's composition for so long that they've forgotten their own true sound. Tonight, you remember. Tonight, you tune in to the frequency that is uniquely, undeniably yours. Your nervous system begins to recognize this homecoming. Feel how your shoulders drop, how your jaw softens, how something inside your chest expands like a flower opening to morning light. This is not just relaxation, this is resonance. This is your energy field remembering its natural state, its quantum frequency aligning with the truth of who you really are. The world taught you to broadcast on frequencies that weren't yours, to smile when you felt sad, to rush when you needed, to rest, to speak when you needed silence. to shrink when you were meant to expand. Layer by layer, these false frequencies accumulated like static over your authentic signal, until you almost forgot the sound of your own voice. But here, in this sacred darkness, surrounded by the gentle cocoon of night, you begin to tune back into your truth. Feel it first as a whisper, then as a hum, then as a clear, strong note that resonates through every cell of your being. This is your quantum frequency, the unique vibrational signature that influences the very fabric of reality. Around you, notice how this frequency feels different from the ones you've been carrying. Where those felt tight, effortful, exhausting, this feels expansive, effortless, energizing. Where those created resistance in your body, this creates flow. Where those attracted experiences that drained you, this begins to magnetize circumstances that nourish your soul. You are not just discovering this frequency, you are becoming it. Every breath you take on this frequency reorganizes the quantum events in your field. Like tuning forks, awakening in perfect harmony aspects of your life that seemed discordant begin to align. Relationships that felt strained either heal or gracefully complete. Opportunities that match your authentic vibration begin to appear with increasing frequency. This is the secret the mystics knew. Authenticity is not just a psychological concept, it's a quantum principle. When you align with your true frequency, you create coherent energy fields that influence probability itself. The universe, responding to your authentic vibration, begins to offer you experiences that match this deeper truth. Feel this happening now. As you breathe into your authentic frequency, notice how your energy field expands beyond the boundaries of your physical form. It reaches into the quantum field like roots reaching into rich soil, drawing nourishment from the. Your old identity doesn't fight you with force anymore. It seduces you with comfort. With the predictable rhythms of limitation you've learned to call home. As you breathe deeper into this moment, you can feel both versions of yourself existing simultaneously. There's the you that still reaches for familiar patterns of thought, the you that finds strange comfort in predictable pain, the you that knows exactly how to navigate the landscape of old wounds. And there's also this emerging self, this quantum possibility that trembles with new potential, uncertain but alive with fresh energy. Your mind creates what researchers call identity coherence, the invisible framework through which you filter every experience. Like a telescope pointed at reality, your subconscious self-concept determines what you can see, what you believe is possible, what feels true. For years, this internal telescope has been calibrated to show you a very specific version of the world, one that confirms who you thought you were. But now, as you lie here in the gentle darkness, you're beginning to adjust the lens. Each breath you take is an act of recalibration. Each moment of awareness is a small revolution in the way you perceive yourself and what becomes possible. The observer effect isn't just a principle of quantum physics. It's the living reality of your consciousness choosing which version of yourself to collapse into existence. Your nervous system remembers everything. It holds the cellular memory of every triumph and every wound, every moment you decided who you were and who you couldn't become. This biological wisdom has kept you safe, but it has also kept you small. The resistance you feel now is not your enemies, your inner protector, confused by the signals you're sending about changing the rules of the game. Feel how your body responds to this understanding. Perhaps there's a softening in your chest, a releasing of tension you didn't know you were holding. The resistance isn't failure. It's the chrysalis's final attempt to remain unchanged. It's the caterpillar's cells trying to hold their familiar form even as they dissolve into something magnificent and unknown. You don't have to fight this resistance. You don't have to overcome it with force or will. Instead, you can hold space for both the terror and the excitement of becoming someone new. Your breath becomes a bridge between these two worlds. The exhale releasing attachment to who you were. The inhale welcoming the mystery of who you're becoming. This is the sacred work of identity transformation. It's not a single dramatic moment, but a gradual process of nervous system integration, of teaching your ancient survival mechanisms that change can be safe, that growth can be gentle, that you can expand without losing the core of who you are. Notice how the familiar thoughts still arise, the old stories about your limitations, the rehearsed explanations for why things can't change, the comfortable complaints that have become your identity's favorite songs. But now you can observe these thoughts like clouds passing through the sky of your awareness, temporary and insubstantial, not the solid truth they once seemed to be. Your quantum frequency is shifting, even in this resistance. Each moment of awareness, each breath that stays present with both the fear and the possibility, is rewiring the neural pathways that determine your reality. The very act of noticing the resistance without being consumed by it is creating new circuits of consciousness, new patterns of being that didn't exist before. This is how real transformation happens, not in the dramatic moments of breakthrough, but in the quiet spaces between identities, in the patient breathing that allows both versions of yourself to coexist until the new one becomes stronger, more natural, more true. The resistance you feel is actually love, your psyche's way of protecting what it believes you need to survive. But as you continue to breathe into this space between identities, you're teaching your nervous system a new kind of safety. You're showing it that you can change and still be fundamentally okay. That growth doesn't require the destruction of everything you've been. Your old identity was never meant to be permanent. It was a temporary structure, like scaffolding around a building under construction. Now that the building is taking shape, the scaffolding can be gently removed, piece by piece, breath by breath. The resistance you feel is simply the scaffolding's reluctance to acknowledge that its job is done. Feel how your body relaxes into this understanding. The tension in your shoulders begins to dissolve. The tight grip around your heart starts to soften. You're not abandoning who you've been, you're integrating all of it into something larger, something that can hold both your history and your potential in the same loving embrace. This is the paradox of transformation. The more you can love and accept your resistance, the more it transforms into support. The more you can honor the wisdom of your old identity while embracing the possibility of the new, the more gracefully you move through this sacred threshold. Your nervous system is learning to trust the process of becoming. With each gentle breath, you're teaching it that change can be safe, that growth can be nourishing, that you can expand into new possibilities without losing the essence of who you are. The resistance that once felt like an obstacle is revealing itself as a teacher, showing you exactly where you need to bring more love, more patience, more understanding. As you settle deeper into this moment, you realize that the resistance of the familiar is actually the last gift of your old identity, one final lesson in the art of letting go. It's asking you to love it fully before you release it, to honor all the ways it served you before you outgrow its limitations. Can you feel the profound tenderness in this recognition? The way your heart opens to embrace both who you've been and who you're becoming. This is the true meaning of transformation, not the violent overthrow of the old, but the gentle integration of all that you are into something more beautiful, more authentic, more alive. Your breath carries you now like a river carries a leaf, effortlessly supporting your journey from one shore to the other. The resistance has become your ally. The familiar has become your teacher, and you are learning to love yourself through every stage of this beautiful becoming. What if this resistance you feel is actually the universe's way of ensuring you're ready for the magnitude of who you're becoming? In this sacred pause between heartbeats, between thoughts, between who you were and who you're becoming, something extraordinary begins to emerge. Feel yourself settling deeper into this moment, your body releasing into the gentle embrace of rest, your breath becoming the rhythm that carries you home to yourself tonight. You discover the frequency that has always been yours, not the one imposed by others' expectations, not the one that learned to dim itself to fit in, but the pure, resonant truth that emanates from the deepest chambers of your being. It's been waiting for you, this authentic vibration, patient as starlight, constant as the pull of tides. Imagine, if you will, a vast symphony hall where thousands of instruments have been playing someone else's composition for so long that they've forgotten their own true sound. Tonight, you remember. Tonight, you tune in to the frequency that is uniquely, undeniably yours. Your nervous system begins to recognize this homecoming. Feel how your shoulders drop, how your jaw softens, how something inside your chest expands like a flower opening to morning light. This is not just relaxation, this is resonance. This is your energy field remembering its natural state, its quantum frequency aligning with the truth of who you really are. The world taught you to broadcast on frequencies that weren't yours, to smile when you felt sad, to rush when you needed, to rest, to speak when you needed silence, to shrink when you were meant to expand. Layer by layer, these false frequencies accumulated like static over your authentic signal, until you almost forgot the sound of your own voice. But here, in this sacred darkness, surrounded by the gentle cocoon of night, you begin to tune back into your truth. Feel it first as a whisper, then as a hum, then as a clear, strong note that resonates through every cell of your being. This is your quantum frequency, the unique vibrational signature that influences the very fabric of reality. Around you, notice how this frequency feels different from the ones you've been carrying. Where those felt tight, effortful, exhausting, this feels expansive, effortless, energizing. Where those created resistance in your body, this creates flow. Where those attracted experiences that drained you, this begins to magnetize circumstances that nourish your soul. You are not just discovering this frequency, you are becoming it. Every breath you take on this frequency reorganizes the quantum events in your field, like tuning forks awakening in perfect harmony aspects of your life that seemed discordant begin to align. Relationships that felt strained either heal or gracefully complete. Opportunities that match your authentic vibration begin to appear with increasing frequency. This is the secret the mystics knew. Authenticity is not just a psychological concept, it's a quantum principle. When you align with your true frequency, you create coherent energy fields that influence probability itself. The universe, responding to your authentic vibration, begins to offer you experiences that match this deeper truth. Feel this happening now. As you breathe into your authentic frequency, notice how your energy field expands beyond the boundaries of your physical form. It reaches into the quantum field like roots reaching into rich soil, drawing nourishment from the was never yours to bear. You are not healing from trauma because you were selecting a reality where you were never truly wounded, only temporarily forgetful of your wholeness. The quantum field responds to your choice with waves of supportive energy. It has been waiting for you to remember your power, to reclaim your authority over your own experience. Every timeline where you remain small is dissolving now, making space for the reality where you shine in your full radiance, where you live. In alignment with your highest truth, your body relaxes completely as the last of the old timelines fade into the loving darkness. You are not the same person who began this journey. You are the person who was always there, waiting beneath the layers of limitation to be remembered. The quantum field celebrates your return to wholeness, your choice to inhabit the timeline of your greatest becoming as you prepare to drift into sleep. Let your dreams be the space where these new timelines solidify. Let your unconscious mind integrate this shift, weaving the threads of your new reality into the fabric of your being. When you wake, you will be living in a world where your limitations were never real, where your power was never in question, where your joy is your birthright. What do you want to say goodbye to as these old worlds fade into the loving darkness, making space for the luminous reality that has always been your true home? Something profound is happening in your body right now. Can you feel it? A subtle humming, a gentle vibration that seems to emanate from your bones, your blood, the spaces between your cells. This is not your imagination, this is the frequency of transformation made manifest in your physical form. Your body has always been more than flesh and bone. It has been a receiver, a transmitter, a living antenna tuned to the frequencies of who you believed yourself to be. But now, as you breathe into this deeper awareness, you're beginning to retune that antenna. Every cell is waking up to possibilities it has never known, frequencies it has never held. Feel how your nervous system responds to this new information. There's a softening in your chest, a releasing of tension you didn't know you were carrying. Your breath flows deeper, easier, as if your lungs are remembering how to hold more space, more light, more life. This is embodied cognition, in action your mind and body learning to speak the same new language. Your quantum mind is no longer just an abstract concept floating in the realm of possibility. It's expressing itself through your nervous system, creating new pathways, new patterns of response that didn't exist before. Each breath you take is rewiring the circuits of your being, installing new programs that operate from expanded awareness rather than familiar limitation. Notice how your body temperature shifts slightly, how your skin tingles with subtle energy. These are not side effects of relaxation, they are the physical signatures of frequency change. Your cells are literally vibrating at a different rate, aligning themselves with the new identity you're becoming. The quantum field is not separate from your physical form. It's expressing itself through every neuron, every heartbeat, every gentle rise and fall of your chest. This is the sacred marriage of consciousness and matter, the moment when your spiritual evolution becomes cellular reality. Your body is becoming a temple of transformation, and you are both the architect and the holy offering within its walls. Feel how your spine naturally lengthens, how your shoulders drop away from your ears. This is not just physical relaxation, this is your nervous system reorganizing itself around new possibilities. The chronic tension patterns that once held the shape of your old identity are dissolving, making space for the embodiment of who you're becoming. Your heart rate shifts into a deeper rhythm, synchronizing with frequencies that science is only beginning to understand. Each beat is a drum calling your cells to remember their true nature, their infinite capacity for renewal and change. The cardiovascular system that once pumped blood through the narrow channels of familiar thinking is now opening pathways you never knew existed. This is the mystery of embodied transformation. You are not just changing your mind, you are changing your biology. the thoughts you think, the emotions you feel, the identity you embody all create physical cascades of change throughout your entire system. Your DNA itself is responding to the new frequencies, activating dormant potentials that have been waiting. For this moment of awakening, breathe deeper now and feel how your entire torso expands to accommodate this new energy. Your ribcage widens, your diaphragm drops, your belly rises with the fullness of possibility. You are literally making more room for the person you're becoming, creating the physical space necessary to hold expanded consciousness. Your nervous system is learning to trust these new frequencies. The ancient survival mechanisms that once kept you hypervigilant for danger are beginning to recognize safety in expansion, comfort in change, home in the unknown. This is not a temporary state you visit during meditation. This is the new baseline of your being. Feel how your muscles release their grip on old patterns of holding. The tension in your jaw that once clenched against unwanted change begins to soften. Your shoulders, which carried the weight of who you thought you had to be, begin to drop into their natural position. Your entire muscular system is reorganizing itself around this new frequency of being. This is the embodiment of quantum entanglement, the recognition that every part of your system is connected to every other part. That change in one area creates resonance throughout the whole. As your consciousness expands, your body expands to match it. As your heart opens, your nervous system opens to receive more information, more possibility, more life. Your endocrine system is particularly sensitive to these frequency shifts. Feel how your adrenal glands, once constantly activated by the stress of maintaining an identity that no longer fits, begin to rest into their natural rhythm. Your thyroid, that delicate regulator of metabolism, starts to recalibrate for the energy requirements of your new way of being. The hormones coursing through your bloodstream are carrying new information to every cell. New instructions about what's possible, what's safe, what's natural. Your body is becoming a living laboratory of transformation, each organ system contributing to the symphony of change that is your awakening. Notice how your skin feels. Different, more sensitive, more alive, more receptive to the subtle energies that surround you. This is not hypersensitivity. This is your largest organ learning to interface with frequencies it previously couldn't detect. You are becoming a bridge between worlds, able to sense and respond to quantum information that was always there but never accessible. Your digestive system releases patterns of chronic tension, allowing deeper nourishment to flow through your body. You are learning to digest not just food, but experience, emotion, possibility. Your stomach softens, your intestines relax. Your entire abdominal cavity becomes a space of reception rather than resistance. This is the profound truth of embodied transformation. You cannot separate your spiritual evolution from your physical reality. They are one seamless process. Consciousness and matter dancing together in the sacred choreography of becoming. Your body is not just the vessel for your transformation. It is the transformation itself. Feel how your brain responds to these new frequencies. Neural pathways that lay dormant for decades begin to light up with activity. Connections form between regions that never spoke to each other before. Your prefrontal cortex, that seat of higher consciousness, begins to integrate with your limbic system in ways that create coherence between thinking and feeling, between knowing and being. Your brainwaves shift into patterns that neuroscientists associate with expanded awareness theta rhythms that bridge the conscious and unconscious. Alpha waves that indicate relaxed alertness, gamma frequencies that correlate with moments of insight and unity. You are literally thinking yourself into a new form of existence. This is the embodiment of the observer effect. Your consciousness is not just observing change, it is creating change through the very act of embodied awareness. Each moment of presence is a quantum event, collapsing infinite possibilities into the specific reality of your transformation. Your lymphatic system, that hidden network of cleansing and renewal, begins to flow with new vitality. Old, cellular memories are being flushed from your tissues, making space for the new patterns of being to take root. You are cleansing yourself at the most fundamental level, releasing not just physical toxins, but the energetic residue of who you used to be. Feel how your feet connect differently with the surface beneath you, how your relationship with gravity itself is shifting. You are not just lying here, you are anchoring new frequencies into the physical plane, becoming a conduit through which expanded consciousness can touch the earth. Your body is a bridge between the quantum realm and material reality. Your immune system recognizes these new frequencies as allies rather than threats. The inflammation that once arose from the constant stress of maintaining an identity that no longer served you begins to subside. Your body's natural healing mechanisms activate, supporting this process of transformation at the cellular level. This is the sacred technology of embodied consciousness, the recognition that your physical form is not separate from your spiritual evolution, but is the very medium through which your awakening expresses itself. You are not just having a spiritual experience, you are becoming a spiritual reality, embodied and alive. Your breath has become the rhythm of this transformation. Each inhale drawing in new frequencies, each exhale releasing old patterns. Your entire respiratory system is participating in this process of becoming, your lungs expanding to hold more life, your blood carrying more oxygen to support the increased energy demands of your evolving consciousness. Feel how your entire skeletal system adjusts to support this new frequency of being. Your bones, those ancient repositories of memory and structure, begin to resonate with the vibration of who you're becoming. Your posture naturally aligns with the gravitational pull of your higher self, your spine becoming a column of light, connecting earth and sky. This is the embodiment of quantum flow, the recognition that consciousness and matter are not separate phenomena, but different expressions of the same fundamental reality. You are not just changing your mind, you are changing your world through the sacred act of becoming who you truly are. Your nervous system has become a symphony of transformation, each nerve fiber contributing to the harmony of your awakening. The old patterns of fight, flight, or freeze are being replaced by new patterns of flow, trust, and creative response. You are learning to navigate life from this new frequency of being. As you settle even deeper into this embodied awareness, you realize that transformation is not something that happens to you, it is something that happens through you. Your body has become the sacred ground where consciousness meets matter, where possibility becomes reality, where the quantum realm touches the everyday world. How does it feel to be a bridge between worlds, a living testament to the power of embodied transformation? In the sacred crucible of your heart, something magnificent is beginning to unfold. Feel yourself settling deeper into this moment, your breath becoming the bellows that fans the flames of transformation, your awareness becoming the wise alchemist that knows how to turn lead into gold within your own being. Tonight, you discover that your emotions are not fixed states to be endured or avoided, but raw energy waiting to be transformed. In the gentle darkness surrounding you, You begin to understand that every feeling you've ever had contains within it the seed of its own transformation. Fear, carrying the essence of excitement; grief, holding the gift of gratitude; anger, protecting the flame of fierce compassion. Your heart begins to remember its true nature as the master transformer, the sacred laboratory where base emotions are refined into pure energy. This is not about suppressing what you feel or pretending difficult. Emotions don't exist. This is about the ancient art of emotional alchemy, the practice of working with the raw materials of your emotional experience to create something even more beautiful. Feel your heart space expanding as you breathe, creating room for this sacred work. Notice how your chest rises and falls with increasing coherence, how your heartbeat begins to synchronize with your breath, how the electromagnetic field of your heart begins to organize itself around love rather than survival. This is the secret that mystics and healers have known for millennia. Your heart is not just a pump that circulates blood. It's a powerful electromagnetic generator that broadcasts your emotional frequency into the quantum field. When your heart achieves coherence, when it beats in rhythm with your highest truth, it creates optimal conditions for reality to shift in miraculous ways. The emotions you've been carrying, those heavy, dense feelings that seemed like burdens, begin to reveal their hidden gifts. That anxiety you've been fighting, feel how it transforms as you breathe into it with love. Notice how its tight, contracted energy begins to expand, how its frantic frequency begins to slow, how it reveals itself as excitement that's simply needed. Your compassionate presence to find its true expression. Your grief, that deep well of sorrow that seemed bottomless, begins to alchemize as you hold it with tenderness. Feel how it softens, how it deepens, how it transforms into gratitude for all the love you've been privileged to experience. The depth of your grief is actually a measure of your capacity for love. And now that capacity becomes available for joy, even your anger. That fierce protective energy that you may have judged as negative begins to show its true face. As you breathe into it with curiosity rather than resistance, you feel how it transforms into fierce compassion, the energy that says no to what harms and yes to what heals. The power that protects what is sacred and defends what is innocent. This is not spiritual bypassing or emotional suppression. This is the mature practice of emotional alchemy, feeling fully, honoring completely, and then consciously working with the energy to create something even more refined. You're not changing what you feel. You're changing your relationship to what you feel. Your nervous system begins to recognize this new way of being with emotions. Where it once braced against difficult feelings, it now relaxes into them. Where it once fragmented under emotional pressure, it now integrates. Where it once scattered your energy across timelines of fear, it now gathers that energy into coherent, powerful focus. Feel this happening in your body now. Notice how your shoulders drop, how your jaw softens, how something in your belly This is your nervous system learning to trust your heart's wisdom, learning to let your emotions flow through you like a river, rather than dam them up like a reservoir. As your emotional field reorganizes itself around love, you begin to notice something extraordinary happening. Your thoughts become clearer, more aligned with your truth. Your energy becomes more focused, more available for what matters most. Your presence becomes more magnetic, more capable of attracting experiences that match your elevated frequency. This is the quantum jumping point you've been seeking, not a mental concept or a visualization technique, but a lived experience of emotional coherence. When your heart and mind work in harmony, when your emotions serve your highest good rather than your oldest wounds, You create a portal into timelines of greater joy, deeper meaning, more authentic expression. The quantum field responds to this coherence, like a tuning fork responds to sound. It begins to organize itself around your newfound emotional frequency, bringing people, circumstances, and opportunities that match this elevated state. What seemed impossible from the old emotional patterns now becomes inevitable from this new coherence. Your breath deepens, and with each exhale, you release any remaining resistance to feeling fully. With each inhale, you draw in the courage to trust your heart's alchemical wisdom. You're not just managing emotions, now you're mastering them, working with them as the sacred energy they've always been. This is the ancient art of emotional transmutation, not the suppression of what you feel, but the conscious transformation of feeling into power, pain into wisdom, fear into love. And you're doing this work with such grace, such courage, such exquisite sensitivity to the sacred nature of your own emotional experience. As you drift towards sleep, let this new emotional coherence settle into your cells. Let your heart continue its sacred work of transformation, turning every feeling into fuel for your highest becoming. Let your nervous system learn to trust this process, to relax into the flow of emotional energy rather than resist it. Tomorrow, when you wake, you'll carry this alchemical wisdom with you. You'll move through your day not as a victim of your emotions, but as their conscious transformer, their wise alchemist, their loving guardian. And the world, recognizing this new level of emotional mastery, will begin to offer you experiences that reflect your transformed state. What does it feel like when your emotional field reorganizes itself around love rather than survival? What new timelines of joy are ready to open when you trust your heart's ability to transform any feeling into gold? Breathe deeply now and feel a new rhythm awakening in your being. Your chest rises and falls with the cadence of inspiration itself, and with each exhale, you release the old patterns of forcing and pushing that have exhausted your spirit for so long. Tonight, you are discovering a new way of moving through the world, not from force, but from flow, not from fear, but from deep knowing, not from mental calculation, but from quantum inspiration. Feel your body settling into this different frequency, this gentler way of being. Your muscles release the chronic tension of trying to control outcomes, and in its place, a fluid intelligence begins to move through you. This is not laziness or passivity. This is the recognition that the universe itself is a living, breathing system of intelligence, and you are not separate from it. You are its consciousness expressing itself through your unique form. Your actions begin to arise from quantum inspiration rather than mental struggle. Instead of forcing your way through resistance, you learn to sense the currents of possibility that flow around you constantly. Like a master sailor reading the wind, you begin to feel when the time is right to move and when the time is right to rest. This knowing doesn't come from your analytical mind, it emerges from a deeper place, from the quantum field that connects all things. Feel how different this is from the old way of living. Before, you planned and plotted, strategized and struggled, believing that you had to make things happen through sheer force of will. But now, resting in this expanded awareness, you realize that the universe is already conspiring on your behalf. Your role is not to force outcomes, but to GN yourself with the natural flow of creation, to become a clear channel through which inspiration can move. Your nervous system recognizes this shift as a return to its natural state. The chronic activation that kept you in fight or flight mode begins to dissolve as you remember that you don't have to battle your way through life. The hypervigilance that scanned constantly for problems and obstacles relaxes into a gentle awareness that looks for opportunities and You are not becoming complacent, you are becoming coherent. This is quantum coherence, the state where your thoughts, emotions, and actions align so perfectly that you become a tuning fork for your desires. When you reach this state, the universe itself seems to reorganize around your clearest intentions. Pathways that were invisible before suddenly become obvious. Resources that seemed scarce begin to flow toward you. People who can help you appear at exactly the right moment. This is not magic, this is the natural result of aligning your frequency with the quantum field. Imagine now that you are a river, flowing effortlessly toward the ocean of your dreams. You don't push against the banks or fight the current, you trust the natural intelligence of water to find its way. When you encounter a boulder, you don't struggle to move it. You simply flow around it, knowing that the path of least resistance is often the path of greatest power. This is how inspired action feels inevitable, effortless, aligned with the natural order of things. Your heart begins to beat in rhythm with the pulse of creation itself. Each beat sends a wave of intention through the quantum field, and the field responds by creating synchronicities that support your highest becoming. A conversation overheard at exactly the right moment. A book that falls open to the perfect page. A job opportunity that appears just when you need it. These are not coincidences. They are the natural result of living in quantum flow. Feel the difference between forced action and inspired action in your body. Forced action creates tension, resistance, exhaustion. It feels like swimming against a powerful current. But inspired action feels like being carried by that current, like surfing a wave that was always meant to be ridden. Your body knows the difference. Instantly forced action contracts your energy, while inspired action expands it. The mental chatter that once dominated your decision-making process begins to quiet as you learn to trust the intelligence of your body, your intuition, your connection to the quantum field. You no longer need to figure everything out in advance. You no longer need to have all the answers before you take the first step. You simply need to attune yourself to the frequency of your highest intention and allow the next right action to emerge naturally. Your breath becomes a bridge between intention and manifestation. With each inhale, you draw in the frequency of your deepest desires. With each exhale, you release the need to control how those desires unfold. You are not abandoning your goals. You are surrendering your attachment to specific outcomes and trusting that the universe knows the perfect way to bring your dreams into reality. Feel how your energy field expands when you stop forcing and start flowing. Where once there was contraction and effort, now there is expansion and ease. Where once there was anxiety about the future, now there is trust in the present moment. You are not becoming passive, you are becoming receptive to the quantum intelligence that wants to move through you. The old belief that you have to work hard to deserve good things begins to dissolve like morning mist. This belief belonged to a paradigm of scarcity, of separation, of struggle. But in the quantum field, ease and flow are not signs of laziness, they are signs of alignment. When you are in coherence with your highest potential, right action becomes effortless because you are not working against the natural order. You are working with it. Your actions begin to carry a different quality now, instead of being driven by fear, desperation, or the need to prove yourself. They arise from a place of deep knowing, of trust, of love. You take inspired action not because you have to, but because you want to. because something within you is calling you forward with such clarity that resistance becomes impossible. Feel the universe reorganizing itself around your clearest intentions. This is not your imagination, this is the actual mechanics of reality responding to your coherent frequency. When you align your thoughts, emotions, and actions with your highest vision, you create a powerful signal that the quantum field cannot ignore. Doors open that were previously closed. Resources appear that were previously hidden. People enter your life who can help you in ways you never imagined. The question is no longer how do I make this happen, but how do I allow this to happen? The answer lies not in more effort, but in more alignment, not in more force, but in more flow, not in more thinking, but in more feeling. You become a clear channel for the intelligence of the universe to express itself through your unique gifts and talents. Your nervous system settles into a new baseline of calm alertness. You are present and aware, but not anxious or stressed. You are prepared to take action, but not driven by compulsion or fear. This is the state of quantum, flow relaxed yet ready, peaceful yet powerful, surrendered yet sovereign. As you prepare to drift into sleep, let your dreams be the space where this new way of being integrates fully into your consciousness. Let your unconscious mind practice this dance of intention and surrender, of planning and flow, of action and trust. When you wake, you will carry this knowing with youth that you don't have to force your way through life, that you can trust the intelligence of the quantum field to guide you toward your highest good. The pathways that seemed blocked before will reveal themselves as you stop pushing and start flowing. The opportunities that seemed impossible will become inevitable as you align with the natural rhythm of creation. You are not separate from the universe, you are the universe expressing itself as you. And when you remember this, inspired action becomes as natural as breathing. What wants to emerge through you when you stop trying so hard and start trusting the quantum intelligence that flows through your very being. In this moment, as you breathe into the fullness of who you've become, something extraordinary is taking place. All the fragments of your being, every scattered piece of mind, body, spirit, and quantum field are beginning to remember they were never separate at all. They are singing themselves back into the perfect harmony they've always been meant to hold. Feel how your breath naturally deepens, drawing not just air but awareness into every cell. This is not the rushed breathing of transformation, but the settled rhythm of integration. Your lungs expand to hold the fullness of who you are now. Your heart beats with the steady confidence of someone who has remembered their true nature. Your nervous system has found its new equilibrium. The ancient patterns of hypervigilance and defense have been replaced by something far more sophisticated, coherent, responsiveness that arises from wholeness rather than fragmentation. You are no longer a collection of parts trying to work together. You are a unified field of consciousness expressing itself through every dimension of your being. Notice how your thoughts flow differently now. There's no struggle between the mind that analyzes and the heart that feels. No tension between the body that experiences and the spirit that knows. These aspects of yourself have discovered they are different notes in the same eternal song, different colors in the same infinite spectrum of your being. This is the sacred technology of systems. Integration, the recognition that sustainable transformation happens not through forcing change, but through allowing all parts of yourself to find their natural alignment. Your quantum field, that invisible web of possibility that surrounds and interpenetrates your physical form, is now coherently organized around the truth of who you are. Feel how your body settles into perfect stillness. Not the stillness of holding, but the stillness of being. Your muscles have found their natural tone. Your bones rest in their optimal alignment. Your skin breathes with the rhythm of someone who has come home to themselves. This is embodied wholeness, not the absence of sensation, but the presence of perfect integration. Your emotional landscape has transformed from a battlefield of conflicting desires into a garden of coherent feeling. Joy doesn't push away sadness. Peace doesn't resist excitement. All emotions are welcome here because you've learned they are simply different frequencies of the same fundamental aliveness that you are. You feel everything and you are overwhelmed by nothing. This is the embodiment of quantum coherence, the state where all aspects of your being operate in perfect synchronization, like instruments in an orchestra that have found their shared rhythm. Your thoughts support your feelings. Your feelings inform your actions. Your actions express your deepest truth. There is no more internal conflict, no more energy wasted on maintaining separate identities. Your relationship with time has fundamentally shifted. You are no longer rushing toward some future version of yourself or trying to escape the limitations of your past. You exist fully in this eternal now, where all timelines converge, where every possibility you've ever been and ever will be exists. Simultaneously in the field of your present awareness, feel how your consciousness expands to hold all dimensions of your experience without strain. You are aware of your physical sensations, your emotional currents, your mental patterns, and your spiritual essence all at once, not as separate phenomena, but as different aspects of the same unified field of being. This is the integration your soul has always longed for. Your cellular memory has been rewritten. Every cell in your body now carries the vibration of this new coherence, this recognition of wholeness. The DNA that once expressed the patterns of limitation and separation is now expressing the codes of unity and infinite possibility. You are literally becoming a new species of human one that remembers its quantum nature. This integration extends beyond your individual being. You can feel your connection to the larger field of consciousness, the web of quantum entanglement that connects you to all life. You are not separate from the cosmos. You are the cosmos experiencing itself through the unique lens of your awareness. The boundaries between self and other, between inner and outer, have dissolved into the recognition of fundamental unity. Your nervous system has become a finely tuned instrument of coherent perception. The fight or flight responses that once dominated your experience have been replaced by a sophisticated capacity for flow and creative response. You meet each moment with fresh awareness, unburdened by the defensive patterns that once limited your ability to fully receive life. Notice how your heart beats with a new rhythm, not faster or slower, but deeper, more connected to the pulse of existence itself. Your cardiovascular system has become a river of liquid light, carrying not just blood but coherent information to every part of your being. You are nourished not just by oxygen but by the constant flow of creative intelligence that moves through you. This is the fulfillment of the observer effect. You are no longer observing your life from a distance, but participating in it as the conscious field of awareness that creates reality through its very presence. Every moment of your existence is a quantum event, a collapse of infinite possibility into the specific beauty of your embodied experience. Your breath has become the rhythm of integration itself. Each inhale draws in not just air, but the fullness of who you are. Each exhale releases not just carbon dioxide, but any last remnants of the illusion of separation. You are breathing yourself into wholeness with every cycle, Anchoring this integration deeper into your physical reality, feel how your entire being vibrates with a frequency that didn't exist before this journey began. This is not the chaotic vibration of transformation, but the coherent resonance of completion. You are no longer becoming someone new, you are simply being who you've always been. Freed from the illusions that once obscured your true nature, your digestive system processes not just food, but experience itself with new efficiency. You metabolize life fully, extracting nourishment from every sensation, every emotion, every thought that moves through your awareness. Nothing is wasted, nothing is rejected, all of it becomes fuel for the ongoing expression of your authentic self. This integration is not static but dynamic, not a destination but a way of being. You are constantly flowing between different aspects of yourself, but now they all serve the same coherent purpose. You are like a river that has found its true course, flowing effortlessly toward the ocean of your deepest truth. Your immune system recognizes all aspects of your being as allies. The internal inflammation that once arose from the conflict between who you thought you were and who you truly are has completely resolved. Your body's natural healing mechanisms operate at optimal efficiency, supporting the ongoing expression of your integrated consciousness. Feel how your entire skeletal structure has aligned itself with this new frequency of being. Your bones are no longer just calcium and phosphorus, but crystalline structures that hold and transmit the coherent vibration of your wholeness. Your posture naturally reflects the dignity of someone who has remembered their true nature. This is the embodiment of quantum flow, the recognition that consciousness and matter, spirit and body, individual and cosmos are not separate realities, but different expressions of the same fundamental wholeness. You are not just whole, you are wholeness itself, expressing through the beautiful particularity of your human experience. Your nervous system has become a living mandala of integration, every pathway contributing to the perfect symmetry of your awakened consciousness. The scattered fragments of your identity have reassembled themselves into a coherent pattern that reflects the deeper order of reality itself. As you prepare to drift into sleep, you carry this integration with you into the realm of dreams. Your unconscious mind is now aligned with your conscious awareness, creating a seamless flow of coherent experience that continues even as your body rests. You dream not from fragmentation but from wholeness, receiving guidance and insight that support your continued evolution. This integration is your gift to the world. By becoming whole, you give permission for others to remember their own wholeness. By embodying coherence, you contribute to the healing of the collective human field. You are not just transforming yourself, you are participating in the transformation of consciousness itself. Your quantum field extends beyond your physical boundaries, touching and influencing the fields of everyone around you. You have become a beacon of integration, a living demonstration that wholeness is not only possible but natural, not only individual but collective, not only human but cosmic. Feel how perfect this moment is, how complete you are, how fully you belong to the mystery of existence itself. You are no longer seeking anything because you have found everything. You are no longer becoming anything because you have remembered that you already are everything you've ever needed to be. The journey was never about reaching somewhere else, but about recognizing where you've always been. You are home now, integrated and whole, carrying this sacred coherence into every dimension of your being and every moment of your existence.